genuine.
Ordered to
Hello. Alright. So, few things. There's some breaking Lyotent. Some breaking Lyotent. Dude, chill. I'm like getting everything ready. Chill, chill. I'm not gonna start. I got like no one in here, dude. Yeah, okay. You make a good point. Okay. Okay. You make a good point. Just get my dashboard pulled up. Live. Index. Okay. Low. Tell Hempleton to send his viewers here. Okay, we have Lyotent to cover. Okay? I don't know why it doesn't instantly, like, change. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's probably because it has to load the scene, I guess. Okay. Anyways, fucking tell Hempy that we're all watching iNut today. So, alright. Lyo is live. This is from his live stream right now. However, there's a segment, how long ago now? 33 minutes ago that started. And, you know, by the way, if you want resources, I'm happy. Great offer, but second chat is, I am live right now. If you'd like to comment, come on and comment on the call that just happened. Alright. Alright. I'm good, Harold. Thank you. Thank you, Harold. Alright. We got Lio news right out of the oven. I'm live right now if you want to come on and comment on the call that just happened. Here we go. Because I have questions. I have questions. Why can't they ignore these retards? I don't know. Graced with that as I was getting ready to go live. Dude, chill. Okay. This guy, Cam, to like summarize, this guy's like the watched of like the commentary community, okay? Okay. There's breaking news. There's breaking news. Okay. Would you like to call in here or go in a VC? We can do it here. Cool. Okay, we'll have hidden on. We have hidden. We have hidden going on. Wow. All right. 1 second. We'll move some things around. All right. Um, 1 sec. Get some shit ready. Okay. For the amazing call-in that we're about to have. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Hello. 1 second.
I believe. I believe.
Okay. I'm getting things set up. Okay. I learned. Okay, I really didn't learn. Okay, but I'm learning how to use this like reactive thing. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Now there's a
No.
hidden on the screen. Look at that. Wow. I'm so good at
Success.
this. I'm
Success.
so good at this. Because I'm about to watch it.
Hmm.
The call from the beginning because I came in there at the end. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm more curious how that transpired because I think you're aware of like my take at this point. I don't know why attention is given to these retards. Um,
Hmm.
so from what I can tell, the guy calls in and you join after the fact. You join
Yeah.
like halfway through near the
So,
end, actually. Yeah.
yeah. So what happened is that Goldfish was in Lyle's live chat. And so Lyle was like, well, if you want to talk, why don't you just come here? We can just have a VC and talk, right? And so he gave, like, originally it was supposed to be a friend request. Goldfish didn't know how to do that, so it just was like a server invite, and then we just yoinky splunky the idea, or like the ID, and friend requested him. Then they started talking, and at first it was mostly about stuff like the Jax call, the Rin call, the Rosa call, about how Lio picks like mentally ill people or like weak people
True.
to go at, right? So that
True.
was how it started. And then it like obviously Lio talked about how like, oh yeah, like I've apologized for these calls and I recognize they were wrong. So what's the point here? Like what are you trying to go at? And then we went into Bean Skies and Laya was like, oh, okay, so you're mad about the way Bean Skies was treated. And it went back and forth about how like, oh, you told them to kill him, like to kill himself, and he attempted like 10 days after that whole guac thing, right? And so Laya was like, okay, yeah, and I would do it again. And I was like, head like fucking head in hand, like, okay. And then I noticed that Goldfish admitted to being friends with Beans, and I was like, oh, okay, so how much does this person know? Because Beans is kind of like an unreliable narrator, if that makes sense, which I guess would make sense. So I was like, okay, can I just talk to this person to actually assess what they were told? Because if they're coming in here on like the basis of like a biased view on things, because they think, oh, terrible things have happened and Beans did wrong to end up here, that probably would explain why they're so defensive. So I was like, let's just, talk. So I asked to be let in. I talked to them briefly. I was like, okay, so what do you know about last year? What happened last year? And I explained the way that I viewed it so we could compare. And I found that there were some discrepancies because, on one hand, Goldfish talked about Bean Skies being stalked. On the other hand, I was like, okay, but Bean Skies also like stalked people. Or well, stalking is a strong word, but Bean Skies also reached out to people and went at people. Like there's like almost 90 comments on my video about him because he kept coming back to check the comment section and reply to people. So we have to acknowledge both sides do
Yeah.
that. And then and near the end, it was kind of just like Goldfish starting to spam like soundboards and stuff because every time I tried to strike up a conversation about like,
And
okay,
that's
so
when
if
Lio,
Lio's
yeah,
wrong,
I joined in, I think,
yeah,
at the end of you talking, and then Lio, being like the main one talking.
existed,
Let me see,
yeah,
'cause, so, again, I think I voiced my issues with the Bean Sky situation. Like again, I think he's retarded. Like genuinely, not even like as an insult. He's clearly retarded. There's some sort of deficiency in that guy's brain. Um, so here, my issue with the Bean Sky situation still remains that he was receiving, I would say, harassment's a strong word, but I think it is like to an extent applicable, right? In the situation to where they're like, oh well, like because so watching your
The thing
video,
is,
I
obviously.
watched some of it earlier, like during this, just like refresh
Mhm.
myself. The whole crush thing, did like the relationship thing, did that happen? Was that known about before or after he had joined the Senate?
So that was okay. So this is really like
Because I know
so
chronologically the
the
crush thing happens first. However,
yeah. So the
was that known to the public that that had happened?
yes, because that is what led to the call ultimately. So what happened was that like the crash thing happened obviously, and that led to like the fracturing of the friend group.
Okay,
And
so that was
then
within like the friend group within Senate.
yeah, and
Okay.
so then in if I remember right, like I could be wrong about this, but if I remember right, Beans eventually left the Senate because they wanted to work on themselves, which I think was good because, always good to get distance. And then they wanted to rejoin, and that's when people were like, we're kind of uncomfortable with that. Like, we're kind of not comfortable with this person coming back because of what happened.
And then
And
these DMs
so,
leaked.
exactly. So these DMs were
Okay.
shown to staff and Lio, which led to the private call where sadly we only have like the recording of Asuka, not of everybody else, which kind of sucks, but I left it in because it was mostly just like to show that the tone of the conversation at no point was like hostile or evil or, nobody was yelled at essentially. And that was when it was
And do you
voiced
play
that,
clips
hey,
of that call?
yeah.
Is that what
No,
the
it's the entire call. It's quite
oh, the
literally
Senate
just
call? Okay.
Asuka. Yeah, it's just Asuka talking to herself basically because
Oh,
that was all that
they
was
didn't
recorded.
record fucking okay.
Yeah,
I see, I see.
yeah.
Um,
So it was literally just silence and then occasionally Asuka speaks. But I left it in anyway in terms of like, oh, just to show that there was like no yelling or anything of the sorts. So that call was had and it was explained, what you did wasn't really poggers. Putting your ideation on people isn't really poggers. Um,
yeah.
Reaching out behind the scenes to do like poke at people isn't poggers. Please don't do that. And they were
So
not let back into the Senate, basically.
so to
Like it
like
was just,
understand it,
hey,
so the crush thing happens, the lizard thing happens, he leaves Senate, um, he wants to rejoin, answers no, call happens. And then
yeah.
does he ever return to the Senate after that?
So he tries to. Let me just see if
Well,
I
does he have a
can.
tab, like another chance? I don't know if that's when he reached out to you directly. I don't know. No, I know there's a part in it, I think, where he reaches out to you directly and you show your DMs with him, like one on one. Um, so
Yeah, like they just like it's been ages, bro. Like
yeah, yeah, no, it's
to
like
be
what a year, yeah, September of 2024 this
yeah,
uploaded. And I think like he joined Senate in what 23, I think is what was said. Um,
yeah. And it's like and I said this earlier, like in hindsight, would I have made the video again? No.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, no,
just gonna
you said
admit
you did
that
say that on
flat
live
out.
stream, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
like flat out. Would I do it again? No.
Well, because like at the end of the day, like I don't know why attention is given to these retards. Like I think from the moment Lio got a message from this guy saying, I have issues with this, especially while he's streaming, I think he should have ignored it. I think he should have DM'd more, right? I don't think he should have like ended up talking to this guy. Like it's dumb, right? Um, Even like I'm talking about the call that happened today. Um,
Yeah.
and then with the Bean Sky situation, he's clearly retarded. Um, he's shown proof that he does have like suicidal tendencies. He's not just, I mean, he probably is using that for some sort of sympathy, but he has shown that he has the mental capacity to actually follow through with it. Um, so I don't know. I
Well,
think
the I
going
can
forward, I don't understand why. there was like such a focus on him. As you said, you've already admitted you should have made the video. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I
Like the
think,
video, like I can fully admit like the video was made for personal reasons because everybody in there mentioned is like, or was, I should say was because we are no longer friends. Were like friends of mine. They were friends of mine who were hurt. And they were like, hey, Hidden, do you want to do this video? And I was like, sure. And then I toyed with the idea of like dropping the video because multiple people were like, don't do it. But then I was essentially, I don't want to say gaslit because, again, strong word, but I was convinced back into doing it. And I had already put so much work into it. So I was just like, whatever. Like, at
yeah,
that point, what fucking ever. Just have the video. I don't care. So I released it. And before that video happened, I don't know if you know this, but I did have a call with Bean Skies and a third person, or like two people. I think it was frickin' Neurofunk. And Bean Skies in that call, and I have it linked, I think, I don't know if it's still up, actually agrees to
I
the
love
video
when I'm
being
older
made, and
anyways.
so does Neurofunk, because they're like, well, the story is public now, right? So we might as well have a video out with all the facts so people know what they are, like what's being talked about.
okay, yeah, the call with
So
Beans guys, yeah, you have that link. Yeah, it's
yeah, so
unlisted, but
like
yeah,
after that,
it's
I was
unlisted, but it's linked.
yeah, so I was like, whatever, like at this point, just get that shit out. In hindsight, probably stupid because they were such a glob shitter. Like, who cares, right?
Yeah,
It was interpersonal bullshit that didn't really need to be made public. It led to more trouble than it was worth. So, do I still think that Beans is a piece of shit? Yes. And ironically, yes. Especially because I learned that they had continued that behavior in other spaces. So I was like, well,
yeah.
goddamn, we learned
Well,
nothing.
again, yeah, I don't think he's all there, so I don't associate with him. I don't think I will. He joined like Aiden's server, right? But that was about it. From what I saw, he's in Malcolm's server, I think, right? But I don't associate with him. All that. But
Yeah.
again, I think again overall criticism stays the same. You know,
Yeah,
that
completely fair.
like, and again bringing it today because I'm gonna go over the call that just happened. Uh, from what I heard of it, I think my criticism's still gonna be there. I think
Oh no.
in terms of like towards Lio in this, and sort of towards you, I think once you got involved, I think you should have just either like told Lio to shut down, whatever. I know he's not, you don't have him on leash or anything, but I think there's a little bit to it to where like from the beginning, once the guy was bringing up old things, yeah, like criticize Lio on it. But however, it's like Lio's not even talking about these things, whatever. It's off topic. Like Lio could have just kept DMing the guy like off stream. Um, I don't see why it needed to be like a right now thing. And then when the guy joins, like you can just hear how the guy sounds. Like again, I'm not gonna be mean, but he sounds retarded. This guy sounds like he's on the same frequency as fucking Bean Skies, okay? Like I just don't understand giving him attention. Um, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I guess like it was kind of unnecessary. Like ultimately, I just wanted to get in there because, listen, full transparency, I am a bleeding heart. So if I have an inkling that somebody's being wronged or being weaponized, I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, let me just slide in here and actually get context on what's happening.
yeah,
Because this, for one, would not be the first time that Beans guys weaponized other people to do stuff for them. But also, like, I don't want to like see somebody embarrass themselves on a call when they don't have the full story. Like, if this person had just been like, "Oh my god, like Beans guys told me this, you're telling me this. Oh my god, this is the evidence. Oh well, L on me, right?" It, I think that would have been the better outcome. But very clearly, this person didn't come in to like have a productive conversation.
no,
I think it was more like an attempt to jab at Lio and just be like, oh my god, Liar, you're a terrible person, and Liar just, exists, and then I exist, which, and listen, I tried the constructive route of like, let's just talk and see why you're upset and, what your strong little feelings are there. But like, once the soundboard spamming started, I think we could have just dipped. Like,
yeah.
ironically.
Let me see. Let me see. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's like a few more things I have to say about it. Let me find. Does Lion not have like a welcome channel? Or when someone joins you.
Uh,
I do want to find this guy. I do want to find this guy.
Not really. I think it was like it just straight up came on. Like just plonk and there we were.
Because okay, I was curious. Because I'll talk to him. I'll talk to a retard. That's fine. Um, but yeah, I think overall, I'm trying to think of a way to word this because it's not meant to be an insult, but what is it like? I guess it's more. I'll pose it as a question. Do you sometimes use Lio's community as a platform to push things?
No.
Okay,
I know a
because
lot of people have that like that
that's because that's how
notion
I
about
feel,
me.
right? Like
Yeah.
not just you, his community, like his higher up community members. I'm not saying you're friends with Lio just to use him for that, but I'm saying like that is what's it called? Something that I feel like happens. Whether it was again the goat call happening live server, to what Lio said in DMs, or not the goat call, but the stage.
Hmm.
He said like what he said to me is that like his recommendation for handling the situation was to talk privately. Um, like that was what he suggested, and the only involvement he had with the stage, other than being on the call, what he told me is that he uh, he allowed it to happen, the stage. So, um, I don't know if that means he was all for it. I feel like he wasn't. Um, because looking at the goat thing, I think that I can I will believe him that he was hands off. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
because he said he got the doc the same day as Vlad, which I think the same day Vlad got it was when Goat was made aware of it, if I'm correct. Um,
It could be, yeah, like I would have to look back
yeah.
at like
Um,
everything.
but yeah, that's like. But my point with that, yeah, is again his platform being used to spread these things. This isn't like meant to be a jab, but it's like I would say it's a fair criticism that like this is happening. Uh, and then sometimes it reflects poorly on him. Because I think
Yeah.
Lio took a big brunt of the hate that came out of the Goat Kato shit. Um, so like, and I think that's just because it happened in his space. And I'm
I
not here to
mean,
speak for Lio.
it's a thing.
If he's getting shit for shit he's allowing to happen, then hey, by all means, man, hey, that's his cross to bear, you know?
Yeah, like it's something that I don't even know how to describe this because it's gonna sound really stupid, but like what happened a lot of times is that shit started with me or somebody else and it went onto Lio. For example, the Bean Sky stuff started with me. Like that was my video. It was me talking about it publicly. It was me getting a whole lot of hate because last year, you don't have that lore probably, and I'm not about to retread it, but I was not in good standing. So a lot of people were very focused on me and hating me, so they ignored what I was saying about Bean Skies. And then Bean Skies returned this time around, and the whole guac thing happened, which I was blamed for at first, which he then took back to make the doc again to blame the actual people. Um, and then Lio obviously picked it up more publicly because it kept being brought up, and so it became his issue. With Dreamer, it was kind of the same. It started with me because I was the one talking to Dreamer, and I was trying to find like a good solution, and I just couldn't. And then it escalated, and people were saying shit that just blatantly was false. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to start talking about this publicly. But then Lio started going at Dreamer, so obviously people focused more on that when the Raven call happened, and suddenly Dreamer was Lio's issue when he should have been mine. And like with the goat stage, it's like I found the stream, I looked into it, I brought it to other people so we could all look over it because like I'm one person, right? Like I have one viewpoint. I'm
Yeah.
possibly biased, so I was
Well,
like, okay, I need more eyes on this.
well, to
So
my
I brought it
knowledge,
to other
there was a
people.
bias. I feel like there's already a preconceived
Well,
bias because you didn't like Goat to begin with. So I feel like naturally there's already a bias. Like, and this isn't me shitting on you. Like, from my knowledge, y'all just were not like on good terms. So like, I mean, it's good on you for bringing it to other people. I'm not judging you for that, but I think at the end of the day, you should have brought it to Goat, and I think your bias towards her prevented that.
probably, yeah. I'm not gonna like not going to deny that my handling of this situation wasn't the best. Like I think I've voiced that before, but I'm also going to sit here at the end of the day and stand on business and say, what I said is what I said. Like my points still stand, and if my execution is flawed, cool. But at the end of the day, I still made my point. And if people want to disagree with that point, sure, they can. I listen, biases are human. Disagreeing with me is human.
Yeah.
Having different viewpoints is human. But I stand by what I said. And I'm not gonna talk about it super publicly because genuinely I don't want to bring this back up, especially because
No.
Goat also said they wanted to move on. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm
There's
not
an
going to sit
example.
here and yeah. So I think again, like the Goat thing could have been handled better. Like nobody can deny that. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm perfect and did nothing wrong. Like
Yeah,
that's silly. But like at the end of the day, also I think there were valid criticisms in what I said. Um, and if people don't think that, cool. Like that reflects on you, not me. So it's just I don't want people to think that I'm here to weaponize Lyle. That's
yeah.
not my
Again, that
like
wasn't
goal point.
my base stance. I just again,
Yeah.
it's been noticed that again his platform is used by others, and a lot of times he gets pulled into a lot of this shit. Um, Again, I think how he then attaches himself to it is also very bad. Like again, the whole Bean Skies thing, to my knowledge, again, yeah, he had no part of it. Bean Skies is retarded for saying Lio was part of it and trying to bully him when Lio was pretty disconnected from it. So, but then Lio joining in on it and now saying Bean Skies should kill himself. All this, I don't think that's needed. Um, like I'm not gonna tone police, right? I really don't care what people say. However, if you want these idiots to leave you alone, just stop fucking talking about them. Because I guarantee after this stream today, Bean Skies is gonna come back in on some alt, is gonna be in Lio's chat, he's gonna be in your chat if you stream. He's gonna go to some drama streamer and complain about Lio again. Be like, oh, look how he talked to my friend. And it's like, okay, we like there needs to
Yeah.
become a point where like he needs to like and Lio's like 40, he's a grown fucking man, he can do whatever he wants. But I do think that that criticism needs to be followed through is that like if he just shuts up about these people, they will leave him the fuck alone. Right? Like I don't think I've seen him talk about Bunny Chan, which is really good. Good for him, recently. Because that account hasn't been bothering him. Um and no one's been in his chat. But again, there's just things like this
Yeah.
that do happen and it gets to a certain point where it's like, okay, like he's the one dragging it on. I think once this guy started about Bean Skies, and like he should have been like, okay, dude, like, okay. Once he said he's Bean Skies' friend, like he should have just ended the conversation there, because that was a telltale sign that like, okay, this is actually this calls about something else. This guy had other motives.
Yeah. Like I think the problem is like engaging with a conversation past the point of good faith. Like if if somebody makes it clear they're not willing to listen to you or listen to like your statements or engage with the conversation in a way that's actually productive, that's when a call needs to end, right? Like, why would I sit in a call with somebody who's either just like prodding at me or who just will scream their points at me over and over until I agree, right? So I think that was like the problem with Goldfish, where they came in and they very clearly weren't interested in an actual conversation
Yeah,
where
so
we
it
talk
should have
about what
ended.
happened.
You know what I mean? Like it should have ended
Yeah.
like 3 minutes into the conversation. I'm gonna listen to all of it. Um, but again, yeah, it I don't know. Lio chooses to engage with these people, and that is I think what's fucking him right now. If he would just be quiet about these people, like the people would stop bothering him, and like as you even said, a lot of these people, it wasn't even his battle in the beginning. You know?
Yeah, it was like for like most of them it was mine and then it started going places, but it like there's other cases where it was somebody else before and then it just switched. Like there's a reason that I've like not talked about Dreamer that publicly anymore because I'm this is gonna sound so stupid, but I'm genuinely like not terrified, but I don't trust this person because they've made some interesting choices. I'm just gonna put it that way. Um, and I've seen their streams where they talk about me, where they talk about my husband, and it's gone from a level of haha, this person is just stupid and like, trying to get at me to, I'm worried this person is like psychotic and crashing out about me. So I'm just like, you know what, Dreamer, if you want to exist, exist. I don't care. But like leave me alone. Like just
Which I think
leave
I think
me.
he's done a good job with that. I think he's found a new community of people to hang out with. I don't know if he's talking
Well,
behind the
thank God.
scenes. Um, but I think the only reason I would think that he would have came at you recently would have been again just because of the goat stuff. Um, so I don't think other than that, I wouldn't see him having a reason, and I don't think I've heard of him trying to fuck with Lie or fuck with you over any of that recently.
Well, thank God. I listen, as much as I'm like upset with him, I genuinely just hope that he finds like a space where he belongs and he can just chill out and relax. Because like when he gets worked up, he gets worked up, and it seems very unhealthy for him. And I don't think that's like super poggers or whatever. I think, you know, it's just better for him to be in a community where he can engage healthily with stuff that doesn't upset him to that degree. So if he's found that, good for him. Like genuinely good for him.
Yeah. Yeah, again, yeah, he seems like I mean, I've met him finally, and he doesn't seem terrible. He seems like a quirky little fella. Um, Ali Khan, what are you talking about?
I first of all, I don't think they're talking about a comic. I think they're talking about the fanfiction, and if it's the fanfiction, I've explained it like 7 million times.
You
And
oh
anyone who's saying,
oh, is it the fucking uh
yes,
the fucking
yeah,
X-Men shit?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, the one where people see one screenshot of me writing a fanfiction as a 16-year-old child about a canon character in Marvel whose
Being
backstory
Jewish
plays in
and
the
being
Holocaust.
because
Yeah,
what fucking it's not Xavier, it's fucking Magneto,
Magneto.
right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and people are like, "Oh my God, Hint's writing Holocaust fanfiction. She's like super anti-Semitic." It's like, okay, you just don't have reading comprehension. Thank God.
Hey, man,
Um,
you're German, aren't you? I mean, it's very close to home. Uh,
I don't know. It's just very very funny to me personally because it's like, listen, make fun of me for that all you want. I don't care. That's like you can do that. I listen. I was a child, Lamau. Like you do you. But like calling me anti-Semitic or a Nazi over it is certainly a choice. Um,
well, Icon
Also,
says he
the
only
reason
cares
it's
about the
called a
grooming. He cares about the grooming. I don't know if there's any grooming that
yeah,
happens
it's
in it. I
because
haven't
it's
heard about it.
because
I've heard about it, but I don't know the details of it. So,
it's because my groomer um I don't even know how to explain this properly. So my I was when I was a child, I was like obviously doing stupid stuff like role playing on Twitter and shit. So I met when I was
fire.
14 limo. When I was 14, I met a 30-year-old, I'm not going to go into detail about it,
I'm
who
sorry to
groomed
laugh. I'm
me.
sorry. Okay,
Smile.
it's the
Yeah.
absurdity. It's just the absurdity. I don't think the situation's funny. I just think it's absurd. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But
So,
anyways,
that person like built a relationship with me and they were writing the character of Magneto. So, since my character wasn't originally from that, they decided, okay, let's rewrite your original character to fit into Marvel so I can write stuff with you or whatever. So they did that, and that is where that like backstory like came from because we had to explain how our characters interacted. So a large part of that was co-written by my groomer. Again, I've written that when I was a child.
because
I was like literally
the
15 to
story is
16.
like, are they both Jewish or is it just Magneto? And then like,
My God,
what
I can't believe
I don't.
you're making me talk
No,
about
no, no.
this
It's just
secret.
wave tops of like where does the grooming happen in the story? Okay, now I'm interested now.
It doesn't happen in the story at all. It
Uh,
doesn't happen. I was the groomed child. I
so
was writing
your
that.
OC, okay. So your OC in the
It just
story is an
exists.
adult. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
okay.
that okay,
Okay.
like
If you
this
don't want to talk
is
about it, it's fine. I'm not
silly.
gonna press you on it just because.
No, okay, like
Just knowing the
this
semantics of it
character.
now is like of like, oh, this is why you did it. Okay. I hope that
Yeah,
answers
so
their
this
question.
yeah, like I did she was she was literally like okay, so she was a 17-year-old prodigy when she met Magneto as a child. They don't do anything just to make that clear. Like, I don't know why people have the assertion that they're like involved with one another. It's literally just a backstory of how they met. Like, that's what that is. It's like, oh, how does this character know your character? It's because they met when she
Yeah.
was working in the concentration camps and he was a child. And it's supposed to explain why years later they recognize each other again. Nothing happens between them
But you
at all.
again, you wrote this at what, 16 you said?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I was writing it in the period from like 14 to 17 question mark, like when I was young. And eventually that
Okay.
story plot was abandoned entirely because I grew up. Like that's the short of it.
Okay. Okay. Now we can debunk the hidden being pro Nazi and pro grooming. Okay.
Yeah, it's very silly because people make a bunch of assumptions because based on one screenshot by the way, and I've seen the screenshot. Um and it annoys me a lot because like these are serious claims. Smile. Like
Yeah.
the fact you're like out here making claims you can't substantiate just because you want to be quirky and different and not like the other commentators is like,
It's okay,
bro.
Hidden. Your favorite colors are black and red, or sorry, red and black.
Yeah, I know.
A
Just
little bit of
literally
white, a little
die.
bit of white. Okay, just coincidence. It's you're not a Nazi. You're from Germany, but okay, I'll stop. I'll
It's
stop.
okay. It's fine. It's fine.
Um,
No, listen.
is
I've
live
arrived
done
at a point
streaming?
where now I think.
The end. Sorry. Yeah,
Listen, I've
that's a question.
arrived.
That's a question for myself. Yeah, I'm sorry, but
Yeah, like no, I've at least like I've arrived at a place where I think it's just funny over um it being something that actually upsets me. It's just listen. If you guys want to use that as like a point against me, you do you. Like
yeah, fuck you,
whatever.
Hidden. Piece of shit.
just thank you, thank you,
Yeah,
I9. Appreciate you.
but yeah. I mean, I hope the hit criticism hits. Okay, because
It's okay.
like third time's a charm. Because I think goat was the third thing that's kind of like somewhat blew up on you. Okay, that being Bean Skies, then Dreamer, and now goat. I'm not too aware of your like stuff within Lio's community. Um, but like hopefully it's learned. I think you and I are
No,
like the
it's
same
okay.
age. Okay, you're a year older than me. It's in your bio. You're a year older than me. Um, like, do I care? Do I care about the Lio stuff? Not like really. I one day I would like uh to see him fully change. Um, one day it'll happen. Um,
Sure. Like I'm sure.
maybe.
Listen, it's okay. One day you'll cover my cancellation and I'll just wave to you from stream chat.
I don't think I will. I don't know. I mean, if it has anything to do with Lio, maybe. As I've said before, I'm going through the Lio stuff just because I'd rather be educated on it. Because I think you were in Opcord uh,
Yeah.
when I claimed he's a groomer. I ne
Oh
I've
yeah.
never I do want to baseline say like in that conversation baseline I never said he's a pedophile. I it instantly set my definition of a groomer. Okay. Um, now so I don't yeah. But people were trying to twist it. And it's like okay, whatever, whatever. I mean, there's some people like giving like the genuine like argument back. But I wasn't like educated enough. Like there's a part where I say in that whole ordeal where, oh no, I misspoke. They moved in when they were like or like 19, 20. When in fact with what is it, Jordan? That was like beforehand. So I misspoke not knowing shit. No collab. Groomer is not
Yeah.
synonymous with pedo. It depends on the context where you're using it, but no, groomer just means to prepare someone for like a position. Like that is definition grooming. Like, and that is like what the like child endangerment side aligns with is you're preparing because typically grooming you yourself you're not doing anything sexual with like the child. It is you're preparing them to be ready to do that once they turn 18 so you don't like get in trouble or whatever. Um sorry, someone in my chat asked, or my Twitch chat asked, is a groomer synonymous with pedo? So, um,
Um,
but yeah,
yeah, no, like listen, I think I said it before, but like I appreciate you looking into things before coming to judgment. And if that judgment ends up you like disliking Lio, I'm not gonna murder you over it.
well,
Like,
again,
hello,
baseline, I
Heroine.
don't like Lio, and I think he's aware of that. I can't say for sure, but I think like after our last conversation, I still said what said was like weird or I said what he did was weird and gross, regardless if he didn't groom Jordan or not. Uh, like I think it's in the DMC leaked in his Discord between him and I, unless this is the conversation that happened the next day after the fact. But I just straight up said like even if you didn't groom her, it's still weird and gross. You took someone in as a child, knowing they're in like a troubled home, and took them in like when they were 18. Like it's still gross, like in my eyes. And he said it's just a matter of perception, but he knows my stance on it. So I would assume with that statement, he knows that like I don't agree with what he's done. So I think that is synonymous with me saying that like baseline, I don't like him. But he hasn't done wrong towards me other than leaking our DMs, saying has bad faith. Uh, that was silly. Whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Like again, for me it's mostly like I'm not gonna die on the hill that Lio's innocent. I do think people can be incredibly bad faith towards him. Like absolutely. I think people also like to make insane claims about him because they like having the validation from stream chat by festering, a chat in which people can be horrible to Lio. But I also think there's a lot of valid criticisms to make. And I think if people make these criticisms when they're educated and they actually know what they're talking about, they're welcome to it.
yeah,
And I think disliking Lio is valid. Again, like
yeah. I
I
play
think it's
things
weird
up.
that people
Like
yeah.
I'll play things up all the time. That's fine. Um, let's see. You can keep it going. I didn't mean to interrupt. But
No, you're fine. Like for me it's mostly just like I think people need to find the line of like actually knowing what they're talking about when it comes to Lio versus just trying to make a space where people can be horrible to him.
yeah,
Because that's kind of what happened last year, where a lot of streamers festered in an environment in which people could just say the most horrid shit imaginable about Lio and everybody close to him. And then when the Lio hate died down, a lot of people looked at those streamers and were like, actually, you're not that entertaining. Like,
there's a
you're not
balance of it. You
you
play it up to be performative. Like I've done it, but then I go like I then I set the foundation still of what my base criticism is. Like I can play it up. Like I did the other day with the Wildster stuff, where I was like, oh, his Discord is 13 plus. Oh, he's being inappropriate with kids. But then I reset the baseline. No, I don't think the guy's a pedophile. Like all that. Um, I do have a question about your opinion on this. I received this from I mean, I'll just say I received this from Malcolm. Um, and I'll just send DM it to you. I don't know why I was explaining this before. It's clearly on his stream where he's addressed, like he has it brought up. I just don't know if he addresses what's said in that text, and it's very low res. Um,
let me just enhance.
well,
Enhance.
the highlighted text is what's in that screenshot. So you just read
Okay,
the
I
highlighted
see.
stuff. Um, on the top, and that those are texts from Jordan.
Whew. Okay, interesting. So I'm gonna just say this. I'm not in like super in depth into the whole Jordan and Opal thing or
Okay,
whatever. Like, I wasn't around Lio when that happened. I've actually only known Lio for a bit over like 1.5 years maybe.
okay,
Closing in on 2 years. So I would have to check back when I first joined Senate and stuff. So I was not around during that. The situation was obviously explained to me in like very brief detail because, you know, like it was addressed in his addressing videos, but I couldn't give you context to this actually. Like you'd
yeah.
probably have
I know
to throw this at
I'm gonna
Lio and
directly
see.
throw it at Lio. That's why I'm speaking very vague about it, like speaking. Um, but like this again on its own, we don't know who she's texting that to. So
Yeah.
to me, like, and this is me being super good faith, is that she's speaking on her own accord of her own plan. but I don't know what involvement Lio had. Does that make sense? Um,
Yeah, no, like
yeah,
I get that this would like looks weird on its own.
yeah.
Like I think
I would like
that's
more of it.
probably why context. Yeah,
That's
like
why I
I
haven't
can
taken it
like
and done
if
like big streams saying Lio Convoy, pedophile groomer, fucking rapist, Hitler, and then a show
Christ.
in substantiating my argument just off of this. Um, you know,
Yeah,
so there is. It's a loaded screenshot, but yeah, it implies a lot.
yeah,
So, um, let me see. But yeah, so I think it's, but yeah, I'm gonna listen to that Lio call. Um, I think as we said earlier, Goat is all for, you and Goat both are all for just leaving things be, fucking, and not making things worse. Moving on from it.
yeah.
So that is on you
Like
guys. Wait, I get saw a
yeah,
message
like
here.
again, whenever if and this is an if, I'm not gonna make this like if Goat ever wants to talk, like my DMs are open, Lio's DMs are probably open too. I don't know. Um, I understand that that might not be the case because of how things went down, but I just want to state that offer is on the table whenever they feel ready. So
Okay, that's good. I don't know if she's watching. I haven't seen her in chat. Um,
yeah, I saw one chat and I was just like jump scare.
let's but yeah, people really want me to push on the goat stuff. Um,
How, no, smile.
uh,
I
yeah,
am
no, it's whatever.
like
Well,
at the end of the day, like I understand people have questions about this, but I'm just gonna say what I said to other people. Everything that is my opinion is out there in one way or another. Like it's either because I said it like on the stage or because it's in literal messages that have been like screenshotted and leaked. So just look at those, read those. But also, if Go wants to move on and I want to move on, then I think people should respect that. So
yeah, yeah, I think that's fair. I think I think the situation's over mostly. As you said, I don't think it's worth digging back up. Like,
yeah, like again, everything's out there. People can look at this, come to their own conclusions, agree or disagree with me. I don't care. Um, and then just find the next big thing to be mad about. Basically, just be free. Go on.
oh yeah,
Wait until my Courtney video comes out and be mad at like 2 hours of
Courtney. Are you gonna show when
Courtney
she like
B.
shows her asshole on stream?
No, stop.
I can
uh,
fix her. Okay,
I
I could fix her.
I don't think you can. Not with what I've seen. I don't think
Goat
there's
says just don't call
fixing
me a
it.
CSAM defender because she's not one.
Okay, fair enough. Like all right. Like I don't even know how to say this. Like I will say some of the statements on that stream were crazy, but I've gotten context through I think the time that she was on your stream or they were on your stream. Um where it like I will admit bias probably did cloud some stuff that I said and I was too harsh on some stuff. But I also stand on business that a lot of the things that were said were,
Well, if there's
you know,
anything, if there's out of the things that were said, is there anything you want to take back, like concede, like, hey, I was wrong on the things on some of the things I said. Like, what things would those be?
I think one of the things that I probably pushed too hard on was like insinuating that Goat was trying to manipulate people by talking a lot. I think I think Goat just like this is gonna sound so bad, but like I think Goat just is autistic. Like
Oh.
just yapping a lot
So,
and
not to like, what's it called? Ambush But if Goat wants to join the call, would you be fine with that? Just because she's typing in chat,
Um,
so it is still a conversation being had. I'm just saying if she wants to. I don't even know if she wants to, but she's typing in chat, and like I'm just playing
well,
telephone with these questions.
yeah, like I'm like it's 5 a.m. my time, so I don't know how long I could stay in, but like
Yeah,
if
I'm
there's a
not
conversation
asking
to
for
be
like
had,
hours. Yeah.
then
Uh,
yeah, like if there's specific things that, you want to say to my face,
and
then
I'll moderate. I'll make
sure.
sure like it doesn't become a yelling fit. Don't worry.
Like no, I'm not worried about that. Like I think Goat is pretty much like able to be an adult and
Oh yeah,
talk.
yeah.
So
I'm just
I
saying.
don't.
I'm just trying to like set the groundwork that I'm not gonna sit here and like either side be mean.
Yeah.
Uh, Let me see. She's in chat. Let's see. I probably would say, but I won't yet. Okay, I will make a group. Hold on. Just call back into it. Oh, accept my friend request, dude. God, I can't create a group. We're not friends. We're not friends. Hidden, hidden.
Come here.
We're not
Be my friend.
friends.
Be my friend.
Thank you. Okay. ZB. We'll go to answer. Will she answer? Yeah, she's at work. Maybe she can't. Okay, she said 1 second. Okay,
Okay.
there we go. There we go. All right, now I gotta add another little thing to put goat on the screen. Can I make
Oh
this
my god,
automatic?
you're weird.
Sidebar question. Uh, can I? Here, actually, if I just go, there we go. All right. This reactive thing is a little bit of a pain in the ass, just because it's fucking. You gotta like.
I believe. A
Uh,
professional streamer, Chad.
oh, there we go. Okay.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello. Um.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, yeah. Whatever questions you have, and like, and hidden, yeah, whatever things you felt like you kind of misspoke on. Be charitable. Say that. Um. Yeah. Whatever you have to
Yeah.
say, apologize for. Whatever and things you want clarification on.
Okay, so, um, there's a lot I want to talk about. I don't know really where to start off, so I guess I'll start at the beginning, okay? That stream was not meant to be a sweep stream or anything like that. It wasn't calculated or anything like that either. I want you to know the context as to why I said I was chill with Cupid ID, first of all. Me and them used to unironically have quite a bit of beef back in like I think like 3, 4 years ago or something like that. So my audience wasn't necessarily fond of them. So that's why I stated that, I'm chill with Cupid, I'm chill with Cupid, and stuff like that, because most of my audience doesn't really have a very fond opinion of them. Does
Yeah.
that clear up that bit at least?
Yeah, no, like that makes sense. Like from an outsider perspective, it was sort of like you came in and then the first thing I hear is like,
I'll
"Oh,
get you
I'm chill
muted.
with this person." I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "You're what?" And that just kind of set the tone, right? Where I was like, "Okay, so this is probably gonna be biased, at least a little bit in like Cubanites' favor." Which I'm gonna say this, like this is what like I felt throughout the stream. It was quite a bit like we were making excuses. I'm just gonna call them excuses for now, right? We were making excuses for Cupidite, but then on the other hand, we went really hard on like Yumi's coverage. And so I was like, well,
I already have it.
there are things in the coverage that do raise questions and that should like raise red flags, right? So I was like, why are we just like every single time there was something, it was like it's bad, comma, but. And I was like, okay, but it's bad though, right? Like we don't need to sweep, right? And I'm just gonna call it sweeping. Like I know that wasn't the intention. Please don't kill me, but it's just it's it was kind of, I don't even know how to like properly articulate it. Like I think at the end of the day there were excuses or like explanations you made where I was like confused, because I don't think they made sense. Like, for example, the whole bit about where you were like, oh, this, like, I'm just gonna ask about it because now I'm curious. This whole bit where you were like, well, you know, Cubanites autistic and they probably have a lot of weird shit on their timeline, so they went down a rabbit hole and they ended up at Daisy's
Just need the
destruction. And I
Dickers
was like,
raid. We need the Dickers
um,
raid.
how?
Yeah, so that bit got misunderstood for sure. I rewatched it and I was making a joke about them being autistic and finding weird shit on their feed. I was trying to figure out like how the fuck they even came across those videos, which number one, that's on me because like I have processing issues, so I probably despite catching it, I probably forgot for a quick second how they found it to begin with. So I was kind of just sitting there trying to be like, how the fuck does a kid find like a distorted version of like Daisy's destruction, like just on YouTube and stuff like that? Like, you gotta have some weird stuff in your feed, or you gotta be like going down a rabbit hole of sorts to even find something like that. Because some
For
people
for
do,
mentioning that, can
unfortunately,
you like
especially on Twitter.
condense it, just like Dee? I don't want like full thing being
Yeah,
said.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay, sure, we can do
Or
that.
no, no,
Like,
not the
yeah, like,
conversation, just like the topic, like the video name.
yeah,
Okay.
like, because like for me it was really confusing because
I
I
want
was like,
them saying the
how does that
fucking
correlate?
whole
Like,
name
how
of a
is having
video
like how does having
CP.
autism ended finding child porn? Like, it's just I was
Yeah,
just
I
sitting there, I
wasn't
was like,
saying that. I wasn't saying that autism drives you to find that, which is also one of the insane statements that you made on there. It was all like, "You see, Gokato says that autism leads to finding CP," and I'm like, "No, that's not what I'm trying to say at all." I feel like a lot of what I said was either misworded or like misunderstood. Because sometimes, especially on streams, which is kind of why I stopped streaming, I tend to just like yap and go off on tangents about shit that my mind's thinking about. So I don't really know if that came from that or not, but it wasn't, oh, if you're autistic and you go down a rabbit hole and you find CP, that's okay. Like, no.
yeah, like I guess for me it was like I just heard your statement of like, oh, you know, they probably have weird shit on their timeline and they ended up finding that video and I was just like, huh, like how does that happen? But like in hindsight, yeah, it makes sense to try and like rationalize it under, oh, you know, yeah, this person probably looks at some really weird shit. But like that's probably the other thing that I'm sort of confused about because in the stream you say that the story doesn't change, right? Like you say that the story of how Cupidite came across that video remains the same. And I was like, well, it kind of doesn't because the first one was that oh, they came across it by accident through a UTTP video and they got confused on what it is and then they shared it. And the other was well they were sent the video, right? And so I was like, okay, one is an accident and being confused. The other is being sended and just failing at properly, you know, showing it. And then I recently I went through the Cupidite document again because I was curious, and there's a like a completely new version now, which like Cupidite says that they were one of the only people who would have been able to recognize what that video was.
Yeah,
And
due to being groomed with that material back in
yeah.
2023 or 24 by one of
And
their
so
users.
yeah, and so
So
they
whenever they
they
traced it and so whenever they were tracing it and then one of their server members clicked on the link in the description, from what I recall, okay, because like I'm gonna be for real, the entire story is fucking messy, and I've been told like that there are more incidents that I did not know about at the time. And obviously
mhm.
a lot of the later allegations came out like way after that fucking stream. So yeah, I can see some inconsistencies in the story and stuff like that, but in their document regarding the oh, I found it through like a YouTube section, at least that kind of remained a little bit like more, I don't know, the story was a little bit more solidified on that, but also by reading the document, the quote unquote second time that something was sent wasn't even DD apparently. It was something else, but I don't fucking know, man.
Yeah, like, I guess for me, it was mostly just, like, I heard 2 versions of the story and then was immediately met with, "Oh, nothing changed," and it was like, well, actually, like, something did change." So I was like, "Huh, okay, well, maybe they just misheard," and I was something I did try to do is I tried to view your stream on the basis of what is the video presenting to you and not what is, like, the document saying, right? I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
what is Yumi feeding you here?" So you can go off of that. And I think that was like one of the things where I was like, okay, so for me the story changed, but Goat's like nothing changed, and that felt sweet because it's like, should we not like my point with that wasn't to be like, oh, Goat's fucking stupid or whatever. My point was more along the lines of like, we should be suspicious of somebody telling us a story and changing the story because somebody who's telling the truth is not going to change the story, right? Like somebody
Yeah.
who's being
Unless they're
truthful
like
about, yeah.
recalling it and like making a mistake and recalling it. Because I know that from my experience with Daisy and shit like that, they'll tell you one story and then when they're like not all emotionally distressed,
Morale
their
did do a
mind's a
video.
little bit like better. And then they'll tell you like the
I would say
actual
it's pretty well
story.
put
I don't
together.
know. So I probably didn't think of it as much. Cause like what was it? I was in like a group chat with them with a call about some sort of situation and they had to like start over like 3 or 4 fucking times because they weren't getting the story straight.
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
muted in
like
Discord,
you had the context, I
so
didn't, so it's just like, okay, the
I
story
don't think
changed,
I'm
and
needed to
why are
interject.
we not acknowledging that that's kind of suspicious? So I was just like,
Yeah, it
well,
could be seen as that, yeah.
like, yeah,
It's
brother,
just like,
you know.
especially when dealing with allegations of literal children and stuff like that, I try to be a little bit more cautious, and I know a lot of people hate it, but I do try to play devil's advocate just a little bit because at the time, they were 15 years old, so it's like, but then, of course, the later shit came out, and, it was like, "Okay, so never mind."
Yeah, like I like in hindsight, I can see that like based on just one stream, it would have been like cruel to just entirely
CV,
condemn
I can look
Cupid and be
past
like, okay,
Morale's
you need to die,
accusations,
right?
or
Like
allegations, I
that's
mean,
that would have been a
and say
bit
that he made
far.
a good
But at
product.
the same time, I was also like, I don't. I was concerned basically because like at the end of the day, it was like child abuse material, and so hearing that that was shared, and then the fact that like apparently other people were like made privy to it or ended up seeing the uncensored version of that, I was like, that's like, I understand they're a kid, but at the end of the day, they brought harm to other children, so that's,
Yeah,
you
and
know?
themselves technically. Cause like, my whole, reason as to why I was like, "Maybe we shouldn't go as hard on them," was because it was presented as an accident. They didn't actually know what it was because it was blurred and the audio was distorted. The only way to actually figure it out was to either decipher what it was, through the blurred shit on the screen or obviously how they did ultimately end up finding out from what I've been told and what I remember is the server member clicking on the link in the description, which like yes, obviously that is traumatic to the other people. It's traumatic to all of the children involved basically, which was why I wasn't going to be like, oh my god, they like knowingly sent CSAM, oh my god, because it didn't seem like they knew what it was at the
Um,
time. They were trying to
Morale
figure
should
out
talk
what
to
it
Aiden, but I
was,
think Aiden's
which
over it.
I
I
said
talked
in
to
the
Aiden
video,
last
like
night. Aiden's over
regardless,
it.
it's bad, it's illegal. There's a little bit more nuance to be had. That was my entire argument. It was like, okay, yes, this thing is bad. Yes, it's a crime. Yes, it's fucked up. Like you can straight up go to my transcript where I said that it's illegal, which was why I had like a big issue with you watching the stream and Cat Slayer on stage and completely like ignoring me saying, yes, this is bad. But it's not as cut and dry as, oh my god, a pedophile sent like somebody CSAM, or oh my god, somebody knowingly sent this person CSAM, or at least that's what it seemed. If you
Yeah,
get that.
like, yeah, no, like, in hindsight, like, after I've read the dog, the only problem I have now is that basically Cupid I just like saying, oh, I had an inkling that this could be Daisy's distraction and I still sent it anyway. Like, that's the part where now I'm like, that probably wasn't a smart move. Like, if you think something is like CSEM, maybe don't press that share button. Like maybe don't.
Yeah,
Maybe just
exactly. Like,
it's
if you
like
find
that.
anything that's fucked up beyond recognition, it's probably unsafe, and you probably should not be trying to review and decipher it in general. That's always a bad idea, especially with like the bot accounts like that. Like,
Yeah.
I can understand Daisy being stupid, but one of my like main questions is just the, like, dude, you literally clicked on like somebody's profile that had a map flag on it, and you saw a distorted video, and there's like no bells like rung in your head or anything about how
Yeah.
like, oh hey, this could be really fucking bad.
If I can
Yeah.
interject real quick,
No.
is it fair to say a lot of your criticisms would be better well pointed at Cupidite, like regarding a lot of the stuff
Well,
you pose towards Goat?
I think yes, obviously like I listen, huge red flags when it comes to Cupidite, unironically. Like um there's a lot where I'm like, okay, girl, like you're probably in like a really bad situation and you need to be offline and get therapy and not
Oh yeah, they are
exist.
a
Like
horrible.
like you're like you need some help, girl. Like just but like I guess for me when it comes to the stream, my main problem was that while I was watching it, as much as there was like acknowledgement for obvious reasons that like what happened was bad, there was also like a consistent it was bad but, if that makes sense. Like it's bad comma but there's a
Because
reason
there's
for
more
why this
nuance
happened.
to be had, you know.
Yeah. Like for me it was mostly just like at the end of the day, child porn was shared, and while we can agree it wasn't shared in the sense of like, oh, I'm attracted to this and I'm trying to groom kids, it was still shared. So my criticisms in a large part laid with the fact that I felt like there were being excuses made when Cupidite probably could have benefited from somebody just setting a harsh line of this was not okay, regardless of like the reasoning around it.
Yeah,
And
they were already told, whenever it happened that what they did was fucked up, like, their friends got onto them for it, but the reason why I kept going, "Yes, this is bad, but," is because we're dealing with literal children here, and I feel like regardless of what's going on, unless there's, like, concrete proof, presented in a video that they intentionally and knowingly spread it, which, in that video, I didn't see any, based on what they were saying in my chat and what other people were saying, who apparently were there or were either friends with Daisy at the time and had learned about it. They all pretty much had the same story of they didn't know what it was. They were trying to figure out what it was. They deleted it and purged the entire server, and they reported it to Cyber Tips and YouTube as soon as they did figure out what it was. So that's also why I wasn't as harsh. It's like, yes, they fucked up, but like I said, more context to be had, a little bit more nuance needed, especially when dealing with allegations of literal children, in which if you fuck up, you could ruin their life.
yeah,
So
I
that's also why. And like
yeah,
with
no,
all of these kids involved, I feel like they should all not be in this community because what was it? I
oh yeah,
wasn't
no.
just there for Daisy. I tried to be there for like Judy and Yumi as well, and I would give them advice on like, "Hey, this what you're doing right now, and this really isn't okay. You shouldn't do that. Maybe take this down and focus on your art and animations, or hey, maybe don't do this." And it was like a really confusing situation because like it felt like all the kids hated me, but every time they got into conflict, they would run to me for some fucking reason, and I'm just like, "Oh, okay, I'll try to help."
Mother figure.
So it wasn't just like
Yeah.
a one-sided thing with Daisy. Oh, speaking of, in your stream, whenever what was it? I can't remember if I mentioned it or if it was Yummy, but the thing regarding Yummy making multiple
Dude,
streams,
I'm
like
I'm
hurting
just chilling,
people,
dude.
it wasn't Cupidity specific. That was their first ever video on Cupidity. They had hurt a
Uh,
lot of other people, kids and adults alike, like Pumpkin the Gentleman, uh fuck, I don't remember. Glup Shitto number 47 and 48 and 49, just like other people basically. And I kept having
yeah.
people like come to my DMs or come to my Strop page and be like, "You should really go over this. There's like a lot of harmful misinformation they're spreading and nobody's calling it out." So I was like, "Okay." But then
Yeah,
during the Ponder situation, I was like, "Oh shit, I'm doing to those kids what Ponder did to me." And I had a call with like Lio talking about it. I was like, "I think I'm gonna take those videos down and like apologize to them directly because like regardless of my intentions of trying to help and debunk stuff and also like try to guide them to not do those things, I don't want to harm them the way that Ponder like ended up harming me." Which from their wording, it didn't, but I feel like it probably did. They just don't realize it yet.
yeah, that was something I was actually curious about because I think in the stream, you mentioned something about like not wanting to direct like harassment or anything, and I was like, because this is like another question. So Yumi and I think a few other people on the stream mentioned that you made like multiple streams on them, and I have to ask, is like 4 streams an exaggeration they made, and it was just like 2, or was it like actually 4 streams that you made on this situation?
Not on that situation, but it was like multiple different situations. I think there was the anal bones one, the two
Aiden
Cupidity
hasn't even asked to
ones, and
join yet.
then the
I'm
pumpkin
surprised.
one. I think those are the ones
Oh,
that I
okay.
can remember.
Okay, that
So
makes
yeah, I
more
think it was
sense.
like 4.
Yeah, so that was like something I was curious about because they mentioned it, and I was like, well, 4 streams on a child, that seems a little like, because at the time I was working off of your value of like, oh, you don't like what Ponder did, right? Like you don't like
Yeah.
Ponder covering you as a child. So I was confused as to like why you would then go like out of your way to cover children. But I guess like that might have been like a realization that came later of like, oh, I want to call this out because it's harmful. And,
I don't know,
you
Yeah.
know,
man.
people are
Aiden
being hurt and I want to help, and
has
then
been
later it's like, oh
wanting
shit, that's a child.
the
Like
conversation with
Pretty
I
him.
shouldn't
much.
engage with that.
Yeah.
Like
Because like I came to the realization that maybe it wasn't a good thing like before I even did those streams, but then I got like reaffirmed that no, you can go over it. You can go over it if if it's like misinformation and harmful and like regardless if they're a kid or not, it's public. You can go over it, which
yeah,
wasn't a good idea because I was like, I don't know, should I? Should I? Oh, why
yeah.
not?
I mean, I've expressed this before, so I'm not scared of doing it again. Like I think there is a point where children can be covered if they're genuinely too harmful to themselves or their community. Like if they're doing too much
That's fair,
damage,
Cal.
that's where I'm like, okay, maybe somebody needs to talk about it that
You're
isn't
not letting
another
Dreamer
child.
call in, dude.
But you know, that's just my value. I was mostly confused on yours because I was like, last I checked, like we thought like covering children bad, so why are we covering children, right? Um,
Yeah.
Especially because it came together with like the I don't want to direct harassment towards them, which I don't think anybody intentionally does that unless you like say it directly. Like I don't think you said in your stream, but like, oh my god, you miss a piece of shit. Like go bully them.
No.
So like
Like literally we're calling them stupid and shit like that. I don't remember what stream it was, but I remember I went on like a whole tangent about how like all these kids have potential. They just don't need to be in commentary and they're not the fucking devil. None of them, well, I don't really know what to say about some of them, but I still think everybody has room to improve, especially
Dreamer
fucking
already got one
Daisy.
of
I
my
think
streams
as much
hit
as
with a
they don't want
copyright
to,
notice. I
they
didn't get a
do need to
strike.
get off the internet after everything I've seen and been told and like learned about within the past few months outside of just that situation alone, along with like behind the scenes, like insider info. Um,
yeah.
it's not good. It's not good. But unfortunately, a lot of these kids, their parents aren't there for them. Like Cupid ID's mother in
That's
specific is a
clear.
fucking piece of shit, dude. Like I could go on about
It's
her. And she
obvious.
knows she has a channel too, but
Ugh.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just yapping.
Yeah, no, like I guess for me it was mostly just like confusion. Like again, I agree that I could have easily articulated a lot of my criticisms a lot better and a lot less harsh. Like I probably went like
What?
overboard in like generalizing what you were trying to do. Like again, at the end of the day, I stand by the fact that there were being made excuses when there shouldn't have been. Like there were
I'll tell you
some
later,
stuff where
Dreamer.
or there is some stuff where I'm like we shouldn't have excused this behavior. Like at the end of the day, children were harmed and somebody had access to something they shouldn't have access to. But I also understand that like at the time you only had the information that Yumi was providing, and that wasn't much. Like
Yeah,
it
which
was
was
on a
also why like I kept asking for context and like regarding the double posting because somebody claimed that they posted the video twice. I was like, okay, obviously, I would love to see more proof of that rather than testimony. I know that the server was wiped, but there was nobody like based on what I read and remembered, there was nobody saying that they sent Dee Dee specifically twice, which like Daisy said was a lie. Like I said earlier, apparently it was two separate instances of like different things that were quote unquote accidents or whatever. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I wasn't trying to excuse anything, but I can understand how like some people could see that. I don't know. Just a very messy situation. I wasn't trying to like be like, "Oh my god, spreading CSAM is fine as long as you're a kid." No, it's just like based on the context provided about it being like an accident and them deleting it after they found out what the fuck it was. It was like, "Okay, yeah, obviously this is bad, but I feel like we shouldn't blow it out of proportion and be like, "You did this. You did this." You did this, you did this, especially when they took the proper steps to try and like first of all purge the server and second of all properly report the content once they found out. So it's
Yeah.
like
I mean, yeah, like I guess, for me it was mostly
but
just like
yeah.
there was one part in the stream where I think you call it like stupid teenager shit and gossip or whatever. And that's where I was kind of like, it's as much as, we can give it the nuance of it was an accident. CSEM was shared and people did see the uncensored version. Which I think Cupidite's retelling of this in their own document makes this worse because they literally say that they sent their child friends to click on the uncensored link for them to confirm that it was in fact Daisy's destruction, which like
Ugh.
no, that was bad. Don't do that. Like
Was that in their response document or like a different one? Did they
I
like
can
edit
I,
it again?
I can see if I can find the screenshot of it because I remember taking it because I was like, what? Like, there's no way that that's what they said. But they basically said I was the only one who could have like recognized what this is. And they shared it anyway, and I was like, what? Let me just see. I can put
Yeah,
it
it's
in.
definitely.
I can just see if I can put it in. Okay, so this is one of them. I don't know if this is still in the document, by the way, so by all means, this could have been gone by now, but
Okay.
just gonna yoink the 2 screenshots I have here.
Oh,
So
also another thing that I just remembered, the whole like thing about being manic. I rewatched my VOD. I think I was like miswording myself. I wasn't trying to say that being manic makes you trace it. I think that's why I started over. But after I said that, I was like, wait a minute. I tried to say that their behavior with like freaking out and like peeing people might have been the reason as to why like they were acting like that with their mania and shit like that. Cause like I've seen how they spam on their fucking community posts and shit like that whenever they're upset, and I'm not trying to call them like an attention grabber or a seeker or anything like that, but it seems like they have the need to like let everybody know about what's going on, which isn't really a smart thing to do at all. I've even told them as such. It's like, dude, if you're freaking out, you need to like get off YouTube, stop saying this shit in your Discord servers, and get a fucking journal. But they don't want to listen because they're a kid, obviously.
yeah, like, I guess for me, like, the way I understood it was just like, "Oh, mania makes you trace it," and I was like,
Yeah,
I thought
that
we
was a
had this whole
misread.
thing." Yeah, like, I was like, "I thought we had this whole thing about, like, mental health isn't an excuse." Like,
Oh,
it's just, you
yeah.
know?
I was trying to talk about, like, their behavior whenever they were, like, freaking out, because like, especially if they're from what we know now, if
Dylan,
they were, like, groomed using that material, then I guess the behavior makes a little bit more sense as well, um, with, like,
Yeah,
saying
like
something that you were exposed to as a kid, by pedos, which is lovely.
yeah, well, I guess for me, it's mostly just, like, I heard that and I was like, "Huh?" Like, how why? Like, at the end
Yeah,
of the day, like, the confusion like, confusing part about me was like, "Oh, okay, you found this weird distorted video, and, the alarm bells didn't ring," which, I mean, I guess if you're desensitized to this content, they probably wouldn't, but that was already after this whole thing about, like, there being 2 different stories and how this happened. So I was like, "Okay,
yeah.
now it's getting weird, like, we have 2 different stories
That's
on how this
also,
happened."
like That's also
Yeah.
why I stopped, covering that situation or getting involved with, like, minor shit because it was getting, like number 1, I didn't really wanna get involved with it anymore because it was too messy, and number 2, it's, like, way too fucking confusing because everybody has, like, 5,000 different sides, and then the story changes, and then all this other shit happens, and it's just like, "Okay, I'm losing my fucking mind here, I don't know who to believe, so I'm tapping out, dude." And then I just tried to aid in private for like all three parties, but that didn't end well. And now all of them are exposed as quote unquote bad people or something. And it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah. It's like I guess at the end of the day, I
I
think
have a
for
comment.
me, like,
Do
it
you have
was an
something else?
amalgamation of things where I just was like, "Okay, so bad thing happened, and then we start talking about bad thing happening, and then there's a million reasons as to why bad thing happening isn't that bad." And I was just like, "Okay, well, I d no, bad thing's still bad," which I guess, like, at the end of the day, I think I might have pushed too hard on the angle that you were sweeping over just saying that you were trying to be too good faith, or you were, like, trying to be like, "Okay, this is a kid, and, nobody wants this kid's life to be ruined over an accident," at the time, what we thought was an accident. Meanwhile, I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, no, I absolutely, like, don't believe this is an accident." Like, I was fully convinced, like, after, listening to your stream and then looking into some other stuff, I was like, "No, I I don't think this was an accident." Like, the stories don't add up, there's too many excuses, there's too many convenient things that would have had to fall into place for this being an accident. So, when I heard you trying to give nuance or trying to, like, explain stuff, I was like, no." Like, no, this is, like, bad. Like, I guess for me, I
Yeah.
just read it as too sweepy, too, like, properly, you
Yeah,
know.
Goat,
Yeah.
I do have to ask,
Which, like,
to come out of
yeah.
this, I think is it fair to say that it is shown that Cupid Eye is very inconsistent with how she's like retold the
Oh,
story?
yeah, no,
Um,
definitely. Very inconsistent.
yeah, so because to my knowledge, you covered it before she started flip-flopping on the story, correct? That's when like you spoke on it.
Correct. She
So,
started flip-flopping on it, like, way later, way worse, to
have
my
you
knowledge.
asked
Like,
her about that since then?
no, we don't talk anymore, but,
Okay, that's good.
what
That's
was it?
good. Talking
I
to
remember
children,
they,
weird.
sent me what was it? They sent me, like, some sort of response document to all of the allegations that
I
Uni and Junie had put together.
I did
I
see she
didn't,
made a
like, tell
video.
them my raw thoughts. Ooh, it's
I haven't watched it. I refuse to watch it. I'm
I
not going to watch it, but I did see it was out because I was watching. I forgot who I was fucking watching, but it's in like they're recommended on YouTube. So she has made a video responding to it, to everything. It seems like. Um,
I will say, uh, sh which I'm not supposed to get involved, but due to insider knowledge and shit like that, she's trying to say that she's innocent and like, oh, the police didn't find anything on my phone, and I was like, okay, well, number one, you could have fucking deleted it. Number two, you did admit to
well,
me
no, if
that
you
you
delete it,
did
there
screen
when you
share.
delete shit off your phone, it doesn't delete. They can cryptographically like
Exactly.
they can find it.
But
Um,
apparently they quote unquote didn't find anything during their investigation. But blah 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 TLDR, what I'm gonna say is that they are not trustworthy, from what I know, based off of what I've learned actually recently, like as in last week, especially with that video. Now, obviously, don't go run around spouting this because there's not really a lick of evidence, but somebody contacted me and they said that they were in contact with multiple people who knew about Cupid ID or were involved with Cupid ID, and she would kind of do what the UTTP did, and they apparently spammed that specific video, which is concerning now that I know about that. And they basically warned me they're like, whether you're like involved with it or not, stay the fuck away from that situation. Stay the fuck away from Daisy. They're lying about a lot of things.
okay, I just wanted to solidify that. I think that's a good thing to note in terms of the conversation. Um, in terms of just like if you still stand by her despite all that, which it seems like you don't, which is good.
Uh,
Um,
no, 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 no.
and
Yeah, that was something that I was curious as well because after the stage, I saw like obviously I saw some of your tweets. They're public, Lamau, like you know, obviously.
Yeah.
And you were replying to people with Cupidite's response document and being like, oh, you know, and I'm not saying you said Cupidite's innocent, but you know, you were like, this is being
It was
debunked,
just
and
to
I was
explain
like,
the UTDP section, yeah.
yeah, and I
To
was just like,
explain.
yeah, I was hoping that you weren't being like, oh, you know, Cupidite's innocent and nobody should like, you know, criticize them because I was like, huh, no, like actually like some of the document, the response document made Cupidite look worse. Like, you know, it's like
Yeah, I was told that. They were like, the UTTP section is all you need. I'm like, yeah, that's the only reason why I'm giving them this document. Because the rest of it, like I said, me and another person went over like one of their early response documents in regards to sharing or screen sharing sensitive, obviously I'm not gonna like say what it is, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to say here. Graphic um personal photos of a fucking 13-year-old, and then they lie
ooh,
trying to say, well, I didn't know that they were 13, I didn't know that they were 13, even though they literally sent me DMs of that 13-year-old like talking back and forth with them on the day that the allegations went out, where they were like, you knew that I was 13, you made jokes about it, and he's like, so jokes are jokes, and I was like, dude. And I just flat out had to fucking tell Cupid, like, what you did here was fucked up, okay? Like, there's no excusing it. You can't excuse it with the Romeo and Juliet law. You knew that they were 13. You were 16 years old. Oh, well, we were in the same age range. Well, actually, in my state, excuses this and this and that. No, no, it
yeah,
doesn't.
over the internet,
Like, just because you didn't
anything
have
below
it
the age of
saved doesn't mean
18,
what you
yeah,
did was legal.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yeah. Cyber
exactly.
crimes are like worldwide versus fucking like just because your state's age of consent is this doesn't mean that it's okay to do this online. Like anything below the age 18 is charged as CP.
And what's crazy to me is they were trying to say that they were the ones harmed worse than the person that they shared those or screen shared the image of. And I'm sitting over here, I'm like, are you fucking delusional? Like, what are you talking about? A lot of their like early response document was very self-victimizing and very my mental health, to the point where it's like, dude, even if I were gonna try to be like good faith, there's nothing to be good faith about like here, dude. Like it's flat out just fucking excuses.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, again, like this was something I was curious about because a lot of people that I've talked about, they were like, "Oh, go to still sweeping for Cupidite," and being like, "Oh, they're innocent because you're spamming the response doc." And I was just like, you know, um, if that's the case, that's
No.
weird, but at the same time, I didn't want to make that assertion
I agree.
because that would have been unfair to just be,
I don't.
go sweeping
Yeah.
still.
That's
No.
fine.
Because
I just tried to give that
I was
doctor
gonna say I
like
don't
the
agree at
context of
first, but to
what they
be
claimed in
fair,
the
the
original
relationship wouldn't have been
video,
so
since it
terrible
did seem kind
if
of consistent with
the
what
stage
they were
didn't happen.
trying
The
to
stage
say.
wouldn't have happened if they ended up
But
talking. So yes,
with
I
like
fully
the thing
agree.
you just sent me, where it was like, oh, I was the only one to know, blah blah blah. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like that was the part where I was like, this is obviously I found this out after the stage. And I wouldn't have used it against you anyway because at the time you didn't have access to that. But um when I saw that, I was like, okay, this actually makes it worse. Like this actually like fully
Yeah.
says that Cubedite was aware or like had an inkling or like a suspicion of what this video was and sent it anyway. So that's like much worse than the accident story being inconsistent. So I was just like, hopefully, like, Go does still stand by this person because, like, bruh, you know,
No, dude, no. But yeah, I feel
it's
like a
just,
lot of this would be uh could have been clear. Oh my god, hello,
Could have been
I'm having a
avoided.
stroke. I feel like a lot of this could have been yeah, avoided or like cleared up before the thing even happened. Like straight up, if you like, whether it be me or somebody else, right? If you have issues and you have a direct line of contact and you're like, okay, this is a little bit fucking weird, it'd be good to go ahead and try to talk to that person and be like, hey, this is kind of fucked. I have some questions about it. Let's talk about it. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
yeah, like, I guess at the end of the day, as stupid as it sounds, I was like, this bad because we're making excuses for this and sweeping for this. At least in my eyes, that what it was. And then I was like, nah, because like obviously Cat's Air and other spaces are like spaces full of people who sometimes are, you know, like victims of that stuff. And because you were in the space, obviously like if this came out and people saw it the way I did, which, it's sweeping or like it could be seen as sweeping, it could have been like horrendous. So I was just like, yeah, no, we need to like talk about this before this is discovered by somebody else. But then at the same time it sucked ass because you left and then it was like, okay, what do we do now? And I guess I rushed into it, if that makes sense, instead of like
Yes.
Yeah.
reassessing of like how could we do this? How could we do this in a productive way and figure this shit out? Like I still stand by the fact that I think a lot of the statements were probably not intended to be sweeping, but they certainly came off that way to me. But I
Yeah. Which
also
is what
think that
Catherine told.
yeah, which like at the end of the day, I don't think you're out here like trying to be like, oh, sharing CSEM is fine. Smile, like like it's.
Yeah. Which,
I
like,
mean,
I hope it's not too much to ask, but I would really appreciate if, like, a clarification could be made. Because, like, I know people think that, oh, the suicide stuff is gay, we don't care about that. But, like, a lot of people genuinely left me thinking I was sweeping for CSAM when, like, I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to. And a lot of people said a bunch of, like, insane, crazy shit under the assumption of, oh, you swept for CP, you support CP. And it's like, no, no, I don't. I've never supported CP. I said it was bad. I was just trying to be nuanced about a fucking kid. Help me.
Yeah. If I
yeah,
if I can say something real quick, I think on both ends, like when it came to communicating with each other, I do think on both ends, both of you kind of like misstep. Like, and I really do think from the beginning you should have reached out to Goat. But good, I think whenever you heard about the document, or you were shown the document rather, I do think you should have just went to her about it. Because it did seem like you were running. I can give them that. Um, where when you got it, to my knowledge, I think from what you've said, you did leave Lio's server and remove him. So I do think at that point you should have like could just confronted it. So I'm not blaming you.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know.
not
I
saying
was
like
like,
you're the one to blame overall, but I am saying that like
yeah.
if you would have done your due
I didn't
diligence, you could
see
have
any of it
talked to them.
coming.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of it coming, but like after it came out, I was like so fucking pissed off and upset. I was just like, I'm not talking to any of these people ever fucking again. Like fuck y'all. Because I was like, why are y'all like listening to this in such bad faith and ignoring the shit that I was actually saying that it was bad. Like I'm not trying to defend CSAM. What's going on? So yeah, I was pretty pissed and didn't want to talk to anybody for a good fucking bit.
Which is, I mean, that's fair. That's a fair reaction. I'm just saying, in terms of like confronting
Yeah,
it,
no, I
it
get
would
what
have
you're
been. I
saying.
think things would have aired out a little better if you just confronted it once it came out, or not once it came out, but once you leaked the document.
Yeah, I mean, there is something that I have to like ask about because I only saw it in like tweets being shown to me, but there was a tweet of yours where you stated that Lio and I were like encouraging your suicide, and I was like,
So I can
Oh no,
say,
I
even as a
corrected
third
that.
party, well, even as a third party, I can come out and say though that like I'm like 90% sure, pretty sure it's Cat's Lair. There's people in there saying that Goat should kill herself. Um,
oh
Yeah.
yeah, no,
so
like
so, but I'm not
that's
saying Laya
like
was
not
directly doing it. However,
No,
when
I
it's
tried to
happening as
clear that
community,
up.
yeah, but when it's happening in the community, like I do think it's a valid criticism still to say though that like it was happening within like respective communities and no one was doing anything to shut it down. Because I believe I was seeing Cat's Lair, and then like one other server. I'm not gonna name it, just because it's like off the topic. Um, but like there are people that are adjacent to Lio or Lio mods within that server that were also letting it happen. So it seemed like
Yeah.
I think it's a fair criticism to say that no one was shutting down the part of like saying that Go should kill herself over this. Um,
yeah, like I fully admit like I wasn't looking at the side chat at the time because I was told to just run the stream and then the other
Oh, it wasn't
staff
just a
members would
side chat.
yeah, like the other staff members should like watch that. So I was like, oh, okay, well, So I think it was I don't remember who it was, but somebody came in later and started talking about how that was said, and I was like, okay, can I see like proof or evidence? And they showed me, and I was like, oh, well, that is not what that was about. Like that was not what that was for. Like, please don't fucking do that. Like, this is not like a thing where like obviously my end goal wasn't to be like, oh my god, go please kill yourself and like delete your platform and never exist again, right? Like that was never the intention. So when I saw the tweet where it was like, oh, like you said that and then you cleared it up, I was like,
well, Angie,
I'm not here to make like
I
people
will say
do that. I'm not here to make
that
people like kill
Dreamer, at
themselves or whatever.
least like a
Like,
month ago, had no
and
reason to
the
want to,
part of the reason why I stepped away was like I saw that first comment you made where
especially with
you
Snap
you
and
edited
Go.
it to
Okay,
insert the part that was like, oh, if I hurt myself over this or if I kill myself over this, it's gonna be all your fault. And I was like, oh, well, gosh diddly damn. Like
Oh
now I
yeah, I was
feel like
spiraling when I did that. I was just like, I kept getting like sent like all of those images of people being all like, freaking goats should
but
kill
I was
themselves,
sweeping
goats
for
should hang
Dreamer.
themselves, goats
I was
should
sweeping for
die, blah blah blah
Dreamer.
blah blah. And I'm like,
What the
okay,
fuck?
that's awesome. So it did really get to me, combined with like close friends either not speaking up for me or straight up just like fucking ditching me, even
Well,
though
yeah,
they were
I would
present at
hope
that
they okay.
stream and had no
That's the
issue
actual
at the
content.
time and even agreed with me on a lot of the things that I was saying, even in private calls. So it was kind of like, what the fuck is happening, you know?
yeah, like I guess for me it was mostly just the part that like I what do I say this? I don't want to be like, oh, my mental health, like that's stupid, but like I don't deal well with people mentioning like their suicide towards me as like
It wasn't
a
towards
thing.
you, but I can get how you interpreted that.
Yeah, like I was just being shown all these messages of like, oh, Hidden and Liar want me to do this. Oh, if I kill myself over the mishandling of this, it's gonna be your fault. I was like, this hits a little too close to home. I'm just gonna walk away. Like I'm just gonna like not like I'm just gonna disengage because at the end of the
Yo,
day, everything I said or wanted to say was out
Hidden was
there.
quiet for
So
me.
I was just like, yeet, goodbye, I'm leaving. Door closed, Like
Yeah.
Is it, I don't think it's too crazy to ask, and I think Go brought it up earlier. Um, and I'm not gonna like say that Lio has to, but I think it'd be a nicety. Um, like, do you plan on like at least within like the Discord or on your platform, like I would say like publicly stating like, hey, I misspoke on these things about Goat. Um, and like these are things I no longer believe, and I feel like they're misrepresentative of like the actual situation. Like, do you plan on doing anything like that, Hidden?
So I do think I want to talk to Lio about this and just get some of the misinformation, like cleared up. Just see that like there's a difference between somebody made like had bad wording, like somebody said stuff that wasn't worded properly and it was misunderstood, but now also we have more context on stuff like this. So here's how it actually went down versus just saying, oh, this person is a sweeper for CSEM. Like I think there's a different statements of like this was worded poorly versus oh, like this person is okay with CSEM. So I do want to see because at the end of the day, like Cat Slayer is not my server. I
Yeah.
know people
Well,
people think like,
to
oh,
be fair, the
hidden
stage did happen in Cat Slayer. Okay. And
exactly. So like
so
yeah, so I was just like, okay, like I'm gonna talk to Lio about this, see if we can what we can do, what he wants to do about this. I'm gonna see if I can draft something up just to make sure that like people because here's my problem with it. I don't want people to just be like, oh my god, Hidden admitted she's stupid and wrong and evil. Because at the end of the day, I still think some of my criticisms are valid at the end of the day.
well,
Like,
yeah, I'm just saying
um,
publicly say, hey, these are the criticisms I'm stand by. Like, I like, and then just clarify like what you're reaching too far on. Again, that being like her defending CSAM, like distribution, all that. Um,
yeah.
I just
Like
think that would
obviously
be the
it's like
thing.
yeah, like at the end of the day it's like 6 a.m. right now, so
Oh
like
yeah, I'm not saying
I
today,
really
dude. I'm saying right now.
yeah.
Well, it's the morning. I forgot it's the morning. But yeah.
Yeah. But like I do think clarification can help on the end of like in terms of like, okay, here's the criticism I stand by, here's what I think went wrong. Here's where I think like things were worded poorly and if they came off wrong and here's the stuff where I was wrong or was just being too malicious or too biased or whatever. Like, you know, because at the end of the day, I don't think that this was made with the idea of like, oh, I want to defend this person who's sharing this terrible material. I think it was made with the idea of I'm seeing a kid in a terrible situation that's, being accused of horrid shit. So I want to try and bring nuance to the conversation so they're not murdered, like I would like to think
Yeah,
that
pretty
that's the
much.
intention.
That was the intention, yeah.
But yeah, like you know. But yeah, I also saw this question in chat where it's like, oh, how long where was I working on stuff? So I was working on like going through everything for a week. So I watched the stream, I saw it, I was like, oh, like, hey, what is this? And then I went through it. I was like, okay, this is kind of an issue. And then I brought it to people that I trust and I was like, okay, can you guys look at this and tell me if I'm insane? And they were like, no, like there is genuine criticism to be had here, which I think is the stuff we jotted down in the document, where I was like, okay, these statements, they're iffy. Like they're just not good. Like some of these statements are just questionable.
It was
And
weird because, like, me and my friend went through that document ourselves, and we went through all the timestamps, and, like, none of what was in the document was even what I was saying, so it was probably misunderstood there. Because I had, like, 3 people sit and call with me and go over the document and go over the stage and go over the stream by itself, and we were just, like, pretty much lost on how any of those conclusions were made, unironically.
yeah, I mean, I guess it comes from the fact that we were like looking at it from a different standpoint where we didn't have a lot of the Cupidite lore. We've never engaged with Cupidite directly. So what we saw is somebody like I can just put out the story the way I saw it is that somebody shared CSEM. It ended up with children seeing the uncensored version and the story of how that CSEM was acquired entirely made no sense because it changed. And then we saw you on stream just continuously being what I would now describe as way too good faith about it, where it felt like, okay, we've arrived at a point where like excuses are being made, where it's like it was shared, kids were harmed. So I guess for me it was mostly just like I because I wasn't approaching the stream from the standpoint of it was an accident, but rather of like it was fully conscious and somebody's just trying to cover up for it basically. Like I saw it as Cubidite making excuses for something that was a choice, like a fully conscious choice.
So did you see like the document before you hosted the stage? Like where Cupid was talking about that shit, or was that like after?
So I saw part of the document beforehand, but I didn't get to go through the entirety of it. I watched some adjacent streams, I think, in parts, but I also wanted to go into the thing from the idea of like, okay, let me have Goat's perspective of this as somebody who doesn't know what's going on, like, who hasn't seen the document yet and who's just being given the information that's in the actual stream. So I was trying to go off what Yumi was presenting you over like all the documents and stuff.
Ah, yeah, because the document didn't come out until like months after the stream, and the drama kind of got like a little bit squashed. But yeah, I don't know. Ugh. But yeah, clarification would be much appreciated because there's still people thinking that I defend CSAM and I
Yeah, I'm
support
one of those people. I'm
redistribution
one of
and
those
blah blah blah.
people. Fuck you, goat. Piece of shit.
Wow.
Wow, asshole.
Yeah, I think like at the end of the
Hidden
day,
brainwashed me.
yeah, I did enjoy. That's apparently what I do to everybody. I pull all the strings behind the scenes. Enjoy. Um, but like I guess like for me mostly like I'm happy to see what I can do about like a proper clarification where it's like these criticisms are still valid, but let's not dramatize them into what they're not, you know? I guess I
Yeah.
know some of the people more specifically were mad with the reaction afterwards. I know that some people were really hurt about the whole like, oh, I'm gonna hurt myself. Um, the whole like, people are encouraging me to do that because I know there's people that saw this as baiting, and I'm not gonna make that distinction because I'm not gonna assume your mental state. I think that's not fair of me to do. But I know people had the assertion that you said those things because you wanted to, basically force people to disengage. Because every time somebody brings up suicide, usually what happens is people just walk away from the situation essentially.
Oh no, I get that assumption. It was just like there was a lot going on. It was an immature comment to make for sure, but I was just like, wow, everybody wants me to kill myself. Well, that's great. I hope they realize that if I do, because of like the severity of the allegations that they're twisting
Enjoy the
against me, like
mod,
encouraging me to like
Midge.
kill
Okay,
myself
Midge, you're a
over and
mod
calling me like a
now.
horrible piece of shit
I
person
have
who
0
doesn't
YouTube
deserve to live
mods.
and
You're now
breathe, then
one.
it technically, as I said, the little gay quote, the blood would be on your hands. But I was kind of spurging out and spiraling when I did that. Not trying to excuse. It's just like that was kind of my mindset. I wasn't trying to be like, I'm gonna kill myself because of you. Ha 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 ha. I'm baiting. I was just genuinely like losing it, kind of.
Yeah, like no, like at the end of the day, like I'm not gonna sit here and be
Angie,
like, oh
I
my
don't
god, you
appreciate,
were like
Angie, that you're
suicide
deleting
baiting me, blah blah
messages
blah.
in my
Because
chat of
for one, I
yourself.
can't prove that, and
Okay,
for
if you say
two, I don't want to
something,
make that
stand on it,
assertion
please.
because
Thank
there's
you.
always the chance that people are genuine when they say those things. So, um, but I know that's something that rubbed people the wrong way, and also just made it so people didn't really want to like they kind of distance themselves because of that. I also, and this is something I'm mostly just curious about because I've heard this claim be thrown about where people claim that you were trying to throw like Ace under the bus by saying, oh, he's said the same shit I did, so I don't know what's
I
up with
wasn't trying to
that.
throw him I wasn't trying to throw him under the bus. I was kinda just like well, me and him literally, like, agreed about the
I
same
can't
thing, and he
see the
made a stream
message. I
going
just see that's
over it, thinking that
deleted.
it was also overblown. So it's like, why are you guys just coming after me when
Oh,
there's so
very
many other
well. Thank
people
you,
who went
Angie, for
over it and
clarifying.
came to the same conclusion that, yeah, it was fucked up, but it was an accident. I don't think this deserved a call out video, blah, blah, blah. And even with like private discussions that we had one on one talking about it, you know, it's like,
I just saw that you
why am I
deleted
getting all the
it.
fucking heat? There's other people who thought the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, you know,
to
oh,
add to
you
what
go.
Goat said, because I do feel like if your doc was worth leaking, to her, I do think that means that there was people that reviewed it that, but I'm just stating that
I
again. Yeah.
mean, um, I know why it was leaked. It was Vlad who leaked it, and he was drunk.
Oh,
So
very well.
Yeah,
I
he
didn't
was
know he was
like,
drunk.
it's a shitter document. I wouldn't worry about it. I agree with you. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, W
yeah, it's
Vlad,
like
W Vlad.
that's like the short of it. Like again, like I think at the end of the day, um I still stand by the fact that the like excuses and parts went too far. They genuinely crossed the line from nuance to just making excuses. And while I understand the intent behind that, I still think that was like not a good thing to do. Um, but I also don't think you intentionally went on your platform being like, oh, CSEM sharing is cool. Like other people did that. Don't get me
I'm
wrong. In
being
that
shot
situation, people
down.
literally told me, don't worry about it. The child porn was shared in good faith. And I was like, oh,
Stream is shitting itself. Okay, there we
excuse
go. I
me.
think it's
Like,
fixed.
like I was just like, so we've arrived at that. I've had people argue with me about how many pixels child porn needs to have before it's an issue. So I think there's worse takes about the situation that aren't yours by now. So
Mm.
it's just it was interesting to see people's reactions to this because while I can see your takes as like, oh, whoopsie daisy, try to be good faith, try to give nuance. Other people's takes were quite literally defending the sharing of CSEM, which leads to my favorite question now being like, how much child porn do you think I can get away with owning if I'm a child? So that kind of tells you the kind of arguments people were making. So
Mm. Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
yeah, it was not good. um so again, like at the end of the day, I still stand by the fact that a lot of stuff was too sweepy, but I don't think it was sweepy with the intention of excusing child porn. So, you know, I think that makes
Yeah,
it
that was the big
more.
claim that was being made and paraded about. That was like your main statement because he kept like being like, "Oh, well, sharing CSAM is fine if you're a minor, according to Goat. Oh, it was just an accident, so it's
But
fine according to
I do
Goat."
have to
And it's
say,
like I never
coming
said
through
it
this
was
call,
fine.
you have admitted that Cupidite is unreliable when telling the narrative of this anyways.
Mhm.
Hey, so at this point, because you at that point you weren't aware that she had changed the story anyways. So, um, I think timing matters. I do think hidden if you had looked into like when Goat had spoken about it, it would have done a lot better because then you would have saw that she spoke about it at least from what's being said. It was before the edits were made. Um, but yeah, Goat, fuck you for defending Suzanne. Fuck you.
Wow, wow.
Um, but yes, hidden you do it a lot within that video. Like restate like, oh, it's okay to send it if you're a kid. That's the point Goat's making. Like there's a part where Goat really says, like, I do want to play this part. She's like, yeah, this is terrible. They should have sent it. Like I even told them like they're fucking wrong for this and it's illegal. And then hidden you pause like, you see, kids, it's okay to spread this if you're a child. Um, like,
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
was
like
like,
I
"Where the
think
fuck did you get that from, bro?"
I was still on the point because there was a point where and this is like something that I genuinely was like a little bit baffled about. Well, it was like I understand the point that was being made, but it was worded really weirdly where Go basically went, well, this is just like a child or like a 16 to
well,
17 year
hidden
old
is given
starting
him
that shit
like
and not like a pedophile. And I was like,
retrospective.
none of
takes
that
now.
changes the fact that
Because I have talked to her
child porn was shared.
offline before this.
I understand
whenever,
intention. Yeah.
yeah, whenever people think, "Oh my god, CSAM is
Listen to them
shared," oh my
speak.
god,
I'll
they
be right
immediately
back.
think, "Oh, predator, predator," regardless of like the age of the individual, whether it's a kid or not. And so I was trying to emphasize, like, no, they're not a pedophile. This isn't like what a lot of people are trying to make it out to be. It's not like, or at least at the time, from what I was presented. Oh, well, it's not as cut and dry as they shared CSAM. There's a little bit more context and nuance to be had, which, like, regardless, still illegal and bad, but the context of they didn't know what it was, or at least what we thought at the time. Oh, well, it was distorted and they didn't seem to know what it was, so they're trying to figure it out. Still a bad and irresponsible and reckless fucking thing to do, but I can understand, like, curiosity and then accidentally doing something like that, which I've never done, thankfully. But if you get what I'm trying to say, it's like, it's not as cut and dry as other people were making it out to be, based on what I was looking at.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me it was mostly just like I was looking at it from the perspective of like CSEM was shared, and while like context and nuance can add extra information, it doesn't change the harmful action at the end of the day. Like it's like this is why I think the argument of like haha this the child porn was shared in good faith is so silly because it doesn't change the fact that child porn was shared. So
Well,
I
yeah,
was
no.
yeah, like for me, it was mostly just like I looked at it from the perspective of like at the end of the day, this thing happened. And while sure, we can make an argument of like it matters with who shared it and with what intent, at the end of the day, it was still shared. So I was just like, eh,
Yeah, and not just
you know,
like the intent, but like why, like the full context of like, well, they didn't seem to know what it was. Which, like, I don't know, it's like obviously that's a huge fucking mistake, or at least it seemed like that at the time. So it was all like, yeah, big fucking mistake. They should never do that again. But I'm willing to be
Okay,
more
I'm back.
charitable to them because they were 15 when it happened. They
Did I
freaked
miss
out and
anything
purged and
crazy with
reported
this call
everything,
chat?
so it was deleted, blah 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 blah.
yeah, like again, like I guess for me, at the end of the day, it's like I looked at that stream and I was confused as to how much like I understood good faith to an extent, but it crossed the line for me, if that makes sense. Like it went from
I
we're
got my
trying to give
lunch.
nuance to the situation to we're kind of trying to be like it's bad but it's not that bad, and I was just like no 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 no, like it's nuance and context and intention is great and all, but like at the end of the day children were harmed, including Cupidite. Wow, I can't talk. Like including Cupidite, but also like the other children who saw this, and like the whole, I guess like the part that killed me the most was the tracing over part, where it's like, oh, like I I guess for me everything just didn't make sense. The whole like, oh, I was freaking out, so I started tracing over it to make out what it was happening, and I was like, at that point it sort of feels like you already had an inkling it could be something bad. So engaging with it further was just weird. And so then to
Yeah.
hear like the whole like, oh, they were manic and they were freaking out, it was like, that's not really like it's not an excuse. Like, if that
Like
makes
I
sense,
said, the
it's like,
manic part was, like, in
Really want to
regards
hang
to
out with
how
Destiny. I mean,
they were behaving with, like, pinging everyone and, like, deleting shit.
Oops.
yeah.
Not necessarily the tracing part, that
Clicked
was
on
a
Dicker's
misspeak on
stream.
my end. I believe with the tracing part, I was like, "Okay, well, if we're gonna be honest here, it's a stupid fucking kid. They're probably looking at this being like, 'Oh, what is it?' And since they're, like, an artist or whatever, it's like, 'Oh, maybe I could trace it out and try to figure out what it is,' which is a horrible fucking idea to begin with. Shouldn't be doing that. But I've basically repeated myself enough here, but
Yeah, like I guess at the end of the day, we just like, you had a different viewpoint of trying to give nuance, and I was like, my nuance ran out halfway through the stream, so I was just like, well, at this point, I think this kid is like a little fucked up and probably shouldn't have a platform. And now everything else came out, and I was like, now I'm just like,
yeah.
Cupidite girl, just don't exist on a platform right now, please. And I don't mean that in like the derogatory sense of like, haha, deplatform people. It's more like genuinely, you don't seem well.
They
Like,
should not have them. They're way
yeah.
too mentally unstable. I've literally, like, tried to get all of these fucking kids out of commentary. I gave them, like, access to copyright-free music for, like, animation memes, and I'm like, "Please stop making commentary. It's gonna blow up in your face one day. Just, like, focus on your art and animations." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, I'll do that." And then they just kept on and, like, now we're here. And so it's just like, well, I tried.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, I think like, Cupidites shouldn't have existed on a platform because clearly they're not well.
Definitely not.
But also people like Yumi and Uni, oh god, their names are so similar, shouldn't have like covered this because I agree like the first video Yumi made, like it's 12 minutes. Like, bruh, like that's not enough. That's not enough time to like talk about all this. Like, bruh.
They're also children. They shouldn't be getting involved with topics like that to begin with because they don't have the full nuance or understanding or the maturity that an adult would have going over this situation. Whether it be you or me or someone else, they're not mature enough. And it's also generally unsafe because it attracts unwanted audiences like predatory individuals, which did happen. And, as a kid, if you fuck up on coverage of one thing or you're found to be a hypocrite, then it'll blow the fuck up in your face, and that is what ended up kinda happening with the,
Yeah.
Daisy stuff. Not just with that, but with the Nazism claims and shit like that, which they had a real big issue with calling, like, literally anybody a Nazi at the time, which was like, "Mm," and they got a lot of shit for that.
Listen, it's okay as like the resident
They're talking it out,
anti-Semite
man.
slash Nazi apparently, I would know.
I don't know.
Uh
At this point, I think the main
I'm
points have
so
been
tired
addressed,
of those claims, bro.
but I'm not gonna interject.
But yeah, like I don't know. Like at the end of the day, I think we could have handled the situation better. I don't think all of my criticisms won't like would have gone away. Like I don't think I would have come out of the call being like, oh, nothing bad happened. I still think I would have been
Oh,
like,
yeah, no,
eh.
there's criticism to be had. It's just, like, not to the extent of what it got blown up to be, with like, "Ah, you support CSAM," and like, like, no.
Where's Cal at, dude?
Yeah, like I guess, like people ran with like the worst claim imaginable, including me because like I'm gonna be for real, like I was freaking out at the time because I was like, there's this like this bad, like help. And then people were obviously like, yeah, no, this is an issue and you need to talk about this. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna talk about it now. Help. Um, you know,
Like
it's
like
just
I said, I can understand a lot of the critique, like, what was it? Focusing more on the video and stuff like that and trying to pay attention a little bit more, maybe not having them in the chat, maybe not covering it at all, which, like, I had already said covering it was a mistake to begin with, right? And also being a little bit too lenient regardless of my intention. Because, like I said, me and Beckett had a whole talk, and he's like, "I'm not saying you were trying to sweep for Cupid. It's just like it does come off that way to an outsider who doesn't have the context of everything." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I can understand that. It's just like a lot of context to be had before somebody can just make that assumption." Because it's like, no, I with any situation that I cover, I try to have, I don't know, I try to play the devil's advocate just a little bit because, like, the way my brain works, there's a lot of whenever I'm going over a situation where somebody does something bad or like impulsive, I can always like try to come up with a reason as to why they maybe did that because everybody has a reason as to why they do something or behave the way they do. I try to be a little bit more charitable when it comes to that in my coverage, especially with asking for more context and evidence regarding allegations. Because if it's like minimal, bare bones with just testimony, it's like, I'm going to need a little bit more than that to run off of, before I make a definite conclusion. I prefer facts and evidence rather than just like he said, she said, stuff like that, if you know what I mean. Because anybody could say, yeah, Hidden Heroine posted CSAM 5 times in their server, and I could spread that narrative to a bunch of other people and have them agree with me and be like, "Yeah, I was there too, I was there too, it totally happened." Like, shit like that, you know?
How
yeah.
dare you,
It's
Hidden?
easy to, like, just make shit up.
Um, so I'm gonna go ahead, wind things down, because no offense,
Okay.
no offense, but we're going in circles. Not in a bad way, not a bad way. I'm not saying you guys are arguing in circles,
Oh, no,
but
I know.
a lot of the same points are being touched on over and over. Um, I I do have to ask, Hidden. I guess yeah. When can we expect it, like any sort of retraction or I guess clarification on your stance?
Well, first of all, like
I know it's
like obviously
early as
it's
fuck for
like
you. I'm
it
not. I'm not saying like
yeah.
rush it out, rush it, do it now. I'm just saying like general
Like
like and like make gauging intent.
Yeah, like I would assume that I would probably take like do it on my days off, which would be Monday or Tuesday next week, just so I have enough time to like properly think about it. Because I don't want to rush into this and be like, oh, everything I said was wrong, and then people are like, oh my God, Hidden's fucking stupid and evil and malicious and spiteful, and
Well, if
like
everything you said
I
was
do
wrong,
want.
would you admit to it? Even
Well,
if
if
people were
it
gonna hate
was,
on you.
yes.
Okay, okay, I'm just making sure, because
Yeah, like
that seemed like a big
if
concern
if
right
every
there.
if every single thing that I said was wrong, I would admit to it. But like I said, I think a lot of my criticisms still stand. Um, but people and me included, because I've played a part in it. Let's not ignore the fact that I have influence, Lemao. Um, as much as I would like to pretend I don't. I clearly do have influence. People did run with the worst assumption they could have. And obviously, we were missing context because again, like I've admitted to, the handling of this was not great. It clearly could have benefited from like a call.
Yeah,
While, we would still come out of the call being like, okay, this still is kind of fucked up. Please don't do that again. We would still come out being like, yeah, Goat isn't sweeping for CSEM. Goat is like just being way too lenient on something where they shouldn't be lenient on.
yeah. Okay, that's good. At least the intent's there. I think Goat's biggest point of contention was being, uh, you know, what's it titled as someone that's defending CSAM, like or the spread of CSAM. So, that's good. Uh, and then Goat. Is there anyone else? Like I'm not gonna do it today. I don't know if I would host it. That like you want to talk to on the matter, get clarification, like see if they still fuck with it in terms of like that original stance.
Not that I can think of.
I'll bluntly ask, do you want to talk to Lio Convoy? Because everyone loves Lio. We love Lio here.
Mm, I don't
New
know.
and a life
I'd
through my
have to
teeth.
think about it.
Um,
Because if you like to, I know Hidden can set it up, or I can set it up, whatever. I'm not gonna do it on my stream because about the end, I gotta get ready to end stream. Okay. Um.
I'll think about it.
Okay. Okay. Because main thing is like I want to know if that conversation, if it happens, and I guess when it does, I don't really care about the semantics, because I feel like it'd be very similar to this conversation. Um. I think Lio has a couple more things to own regarding it. Again, letting it happen within his community, not coming to you about it directly, all that. Um, just that kind of shit. Um, so if he can do that, I would be satisfied. So that's really all I care to know. If it does happen, that's what I hope the wickets are that he hits. Um, but yeah, I appreciate the both of you coming on here, talking things out. I expect you both to be best friends now. Okay, I expect
Oh.
I expect Goat to host the hidden sweeping stream, and I expect hidden to do 30 art pieces for Goat, just for her to post on whatever. Okay. Um, but for real, thank y'all. Do you have anything else before I leave the call?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay.
yeah, they're like, again, I'm gonna talk to Laya about this, and then we're gonna see how to go from here. So,
Okay.
yippee
Cool.
question mark.
Yay, yippee. Okay. Well,
Anyways,
again,
I'm gonna go ahead and go.
yeah. Thank
Y'all have a
y'all.
good night. Bye bye.
Yep. All right. Bye, hidden.
Bye.
Have a good day. Bye bye. All right. Productive conversations are happening here on the iNut channel. Okay. Any other channel, you have people yelling at each other. Dreamer, Dreamer, I can't tell if you're being serious, but I want to talk to Hidden. Um, like she was reading chat clearly, so I think she saw what you said. Uh, whatever. I will DM her. I will help you, Dreamer, just this once. Even though you got my last stream fucking hit with a copyright notice. Okay. Um, no, I said I'm going to in DMs, dude. You were not part of the conversation. You're not part of the conversation. Okay. I don't want to derail that into a dreamer side argument. I am sweeping. I am sweeping. I'm sweeping my floor. Okay. I dropped a little bit of my lunch on the floor. I'm sweeping my floor. That's all I got, guys. Fucking. Is this fucking retard?
Yeah,
Dude, he's still going over the fucking Pisco Destiny call. Whatever. Hey, fucking go watch Dickers. Okay. Dickers is live. The three people I have that I could throw you into is fucking, what's it called? Fucking Beckett. Ina, can you talk about how Lio switched up on his take on the hidden stage for the purpose of owning Aiden? I don't know actually what the context of that is. What do you mean he changed it up on owning Aiden? In DMs with me post what's it called? After the stage became public, Lio said to me the only thing he did was he allowed it to happen. We're not going to Beckett. We're not going to Beckett. I don't even have the ability to actually raid someone. Whoever stream you go to watch, chat, tell them that it's an iNut raid, okay? They're used to me having like 2 viewers, so if at least 2 of you go somewhere, they'll think it's real, okay? So wherever you fucking go watch, just say, oh, iNut raid, okay? But I'm linking Dickers. Go watch Dickers. Cal, just get with me in DMs about that, and I can cover tomorrow. Tomorrow I will actually watch what I intended to watch. I didn't intend for that call to go that long, but it's good it went that long. It's good things were talked out. Okay, good. Send it to me. All right. I think that's the link. I think that's the link to Dickers. It is. Go watch Dickers. Tell them I sent you, because you know everyone loves me. All right. Bye, chat. Bye.